Hi there, this is Jen, and thanks so much for joining me today. Today I'm excited to bring you 5 cards using the new card kit for August by Create and Inkspire. If you're not familiar with the company, it was started by Courtney Krieber. There is an online publication as well as a monthly card kit. And in this card kit for the month of August, you get these 2 stamp sets. So you get a sentiment stamp set and an image stamp set. And then you get this holographic embossing powder, which I have never used before, and it is actually pretty cool. And then you get some texture paste, which is a transparent, which basically means that you can see through it. And then you get this whole pack of palette knives. You can never have too many palette knives. They come in very handy. And then you get this ink splatter stencil, it's 6x6, and then 6 6x6 pattern papers in its colorful world. And then you get 2 sheets of 8.5 by 11 Nina Solar White and 1 sheet of 8.5 by 11 black color book, I believe. And then this stamp is just basically an add-on. You can get this separately. It is not included in the card kit. So I wanted to real quickly show the papers that come in this kit. A very pretty rainbow colors, and that's kind of the theme of the kit, is colors and rainbow. And so for the first card, I am doing a very quick and easy card. I am taking some of that black card stock that came in the card kit, and I've just taken a heart die from my stash and centered that on the black cardstock, and then I cut out a piece of this pattern paper that came in the kit. And I'm going to adhere those pieces together using my tape runner. And then I forgot to emboss this, the black cardstock, and I'm using white embossing powder, so I didn't forget to emboss it. I forgot to use my embossing bag or my anti-static bag to make sure that there was no extra residue from the white embossing powder, and there was. And so what I ended up doing was I just added some more just to make it look like it was meant to happen. And so I went ahead and embossed that You Color My World sentiment stamps with some I stamped it up with my Versamark embossing ink, and then heat set that with white embossing powder, and then I did splatter it with some of my favorite new product, which is the Dina Wakley acrylic spray in white. And then I trimmed both sides of that black cardstock panel a little bit so that I could put this rainbow strip on the side of the card. And then I just adhered all of those items to the card, and that will complete that first card. Like I said, really quick and easy. I really love it. Kind of looks like a little bit of a galaxy, or that there's stars in the background with the white. For my second card, I am using Catherine Pooler inks in green tea, hot tub, polished, and orange peel. And I'm going to take the stencil and a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I'm going to take my blending brushes and just go over those ink splatters in these 4 different colors. So I'm just alternating where I'm putting those colors, and then I will remove the stencil, and then I place it back down, and I add 2 more ink splatters onto my panel. And then I'm going to take my water bottle, and I will spritz that to get that color to bleed out. And I do help this along with my heat tool. And then I'm taking my Versamark embossing ink again, and I'm not going over the entire image. I'm just going over several of the splatters, and I will go ahead and grab that holographic embossing powder that came in the kit. And I'll have to experiment a little bit more with this holographic embossing powder. It's kind of like glitter on like a lighter color on black. You can see it a little bit better. So probably on darker colors it would work better than what it does on lighter colors. So for my sentiment, I am using the stamp that says color and then full. So you can use the color sentiment by itself with the other sentiments in the stamp set, or you can combine it to make the word colorful. And so I've gone ahead and I've done that in Catherine Pooler ink, and then I just took my paintbrush and spread that out to remove the white space. And then I took my black micron and traced over those letters and added a little bit of depth. I popped that up on the card and added some sequins as well as some of my Nuvo shimmer pen to the word colorful, and that will complete that card. So for the next card, I actually got this idea from a video by artist Percy Robb, I believe that's how you say her name, where she is doing something that her and Laurel Beard are calling swinking. It's something that we've all done, which is basically ink swiping, but they have a lot of very cool cards that they've created using the technique in different variations. So they are actually very cool. So I'm basically doing the same thing, except I'm using alcohol markers. So I've gone ahead and I've taken a piece of masking tape and put that on the center of my card, and I'm taking alcohol markers, a lighter and a darker color, and I'm just flicking upwards away from that masking tape. And basically just creating a line of color in the middle of the card. So pretty much a rainbow of colors. And once I am done with both sides, I'll go ahead and remove that masking tape and place the panel in my stamping platform. I'm going to go ahead and take my VersaFine, and I am using the stamp that is the extra. This is not included in the card kit. This is kind of like an add-on that you can purchase separately. And I have again ink that up in my VersaFine black, and I will be using the holographic embossing powder that came in the kit over those card hearts. And then I will also use that embossing powder with my VersaFine black to create the sentiment, which is also from that add-on stamp set, which you can purchase separately. I've gone ahead and flicked the card panel with some black ink, as well as, you guessed it, my Dina Wakley white acrylic spray, and I am matting that onto a black card panel. And so this black piece paper does come in the kit as well. And then I'm using some liquid adhesive, and I will go ahead and add that to my card base, and that will finish off that card. So hopefully you can see the effect that the holographic embossing powder has. It is really pretty. It's a lot more noticeable on the darker inks than maybe the lighter. But the effects of it are really pretty on both dark and light colors. So for my next card, I'm using the stencil, and I am pulling out the palette palette knives that came in the kit, as well as the transparent texture paste, and again the holographic embossing powder. This time I put some of the texture paste onto my mat, and I am mixing in that holographic embossing powder. And because the paste is transparent, you will be able to see all those sparkly effects from that embossing powder. Then I'm just going to take the palette knife. I have already put my stencil onto a piece of watercolor paper, and I'll set that aside to dry, and I believe I let it dry about an hour just to make sure that it was completely dry. And then I had colored up some of the paintbrushes and the palette from the stamp set off camera and cut those out with my Scan and Cut. And now I'm just going to do a little bit of ink blending with some Catherine Pooler inks. So I'm using Fiesta Blue, Limoncello, and Be Mine, and I'm just going to take my blending brush and blend that across. So it's kind of like a resist effect. You could also take the stencil, put color under it, and then put the a paste over the top. The paste you can mix because it is a transparent paste. You can mix inks with it, tint it any color you want, and use it that way as well. There's just so many uses for those pastes. And then once I have blended the colors out on my panel, I go ahead and spritz it with some water and let it sit probably about 15 seconds or so I get some really nice kind of like watermark splotches on the card. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my stamped images and do my layout, and then I will adhere all of these images together. I have one pointing to the yellow, one to the blue, and one to the pink. And then I pop that up with a little bit of foam tape and add that to my card. And then I add this to my card base, and I don't add a sentiment on this card. I wasn't sure which one to use, and so I decided to just save it in case I find a sentiment that I like. To me, it kind of looks like a crafty friend card, and so I wanted to go ahead and save it for future use. So for my last card, I'm using the box of crayons. I really love this stamp right here. I just really, you can do a lot with it and add however many colors you want. For me, I went ahead and I added different shades of yellow for the boxes, and then I am just doing kind of like color families in alcohol markers for the crayons. And I'm going to use that holographic embossing powder again. And so what I've done is I have a dauber that has embossing liquid in it. And so I am using that. So I'm taking a paintbrush and I will color all of those with that embossing liquid. You can use a embossing pen if you have that. It would probably be a little bit difficult to do with the embossing ink pad. But then I went ahead and added that holographic powder, and it just gives it a really super pretty shine to it. And then I will add the sentiments, "You're never too old to color," and that sentiment is from that add-on stamp set. And that will complete the 5 cards that I created with this set. I have so many more ideas for this set, and you can catch some of those at the end of the month during my Same Set Syndrome hop. I will be using this stamp set again, or this card kit again. If you are interested in purchasing this card kit, I'll go ahead and leave links below for that. I hope you liked this video. If you did like it or find it informative, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Let me know what card you liked the best. I always love hearing from you. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to spend with me, and I'll catch you next time.